Prologue. Enslavement used to be based on race. Now it's based on gender. Carnell Smith, advocate for male paternity fraud victims. If you are a wimp, this book is not for you. The suggestions I make in this book are difficult and require sacrifice, and if you, as a male, do not feel you are up to the challenge, put this book down and go elsewhere. What I am going to describe to you requires a revolution to change the culture, and thus the political climate in this country that allows laws and actions against the male sex that would never be allowed against the female one. Perhaps you think this is fair, that men should suffer for the ills of their ancestors and for the discrimination against women in the past. Maybe you are a chivalrous white knight type who loves nothing more than the thought of saving a damsel in distress and would like to see your fellow man brought to his knees by laws that limit men's reproductive and personal lives as well as their livelihoods. Maybe you have political ambitions or work in a field that requires you to favor female privilege over male justice, and you have no intention of changing because you benefit from this two-way arrangement. Maybe you're just a guy who wants to get laid and acts in a politically correct manner in the hope of getting more women. If so, you are not my audience, but you might want to stick around and learn something. If you are a woman, the main focus of this book is on men, but you may find some of the information of interest. It may help you to understand more about what the typical men are going through in this country and why they don't marry as readily anymore or go to college as often as they once did. Though you may disagree with much that is written here, keeping an open mind to how men actually feel and think as opposed to how the media, white knights, and other women tell them how to think and feel may help you to understand how to connect with men in a more open and intimate way. Your husband, son, father, or brother will thank you for it. And as Martin Luther King Jr. once said from a Birmingham jail, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If we as women allow injustice to men today, who knows what will happen to us tomorrow? If learning about men rather than blaming them for all the ills of the world appeals to you, welcome. My actual audience is the man who knows that something in today's 21st century is amiss. He can't put his finger on it exactly, but feels deeply that modern society has turned its back on the average male. All around you, you hear the question, where have all the good men gone? But you know instinctively that it's the wrong question. The right one is, why have all the good men gone on strike? This book will tell you why and tell you and society how to fix it. Because if we don't, our society will never be the same. Our sons, brothers, fathers, uncles, and husbands will live in a world where they will not know due process, where a man can be jailed for no other reason than that a woman pointed a finger at him, or because he raised his voice to her, or where he can be placed into involuntary servitude to pay for 18 years for a child that is not his. Oops, too late. This is already happening in the United States of America. Men are sensing the backlash against them and are consciously and unconsciously going on strike. They are dropping out of college, out of the workforce, and out of marriage and fatherhood at alarming rates. So much so that a number of books have been written about this phenomenon in recent years that look at the man-child of today and summarize that he and his arrested development have taken a vacation from responsibility because he can, or because he can now get sex on demand. Or worse, these books discuss how his irresponsible behavior has harmed females. Since his only purpose on earth is to serve women, nothing could be further from the truth. Most men are not acting irresponsibly because they are immature or because they want to harm women. They are acting rationally in response to the lack of incentives today's society offers them to be responsible fathers, husbands, and providers. In addition, many are going on strike either consciously or unconsciously because they do not want to be harmed by the myriad of laws, attitudes, and backlash against them for the simple crime of happening to be male in the 21st century. Men are starting to fight back against the backlash. This book explains their battle cry. Helen Smith, PhD, Knoxville, Tennessee.